All right. Welcome, everybody. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. on 2nd of April. I think, do we have Mike online yet? Okay. Great. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any guests tonight aside Mike Anderly. Hello, Mike. Oh, wait, there's one other person. Okay. And if to our guest who's online, if you'd like to introduce yourself or speak, now would be the time. If you wanted to, I don't know how we do that, raise the hand online. Alex, if you'd like to do so. So make sure we write that name down.
Hey everyone, I'm just here to listen. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Welcome, Jamie. All right. And so with that, let's go ahead and Jerry, do you have a city council report?
My report is that it is official that you guys can officially go up to 9 members on your committee. And unfortunately it is official that our DEI committee is no longer a thing. So that's all I got.
Is it being rebranded or a separate committee they talked about?
Well, that's going to be a future agenda item that we're going to, one of our council goals is community engagement and accessibility. That was one of our council goals that we decided at our goal setting meeting that we had. Without the DEI, we have no real way to address it other than through you guys. And we can't put all that extra work onto the other committees. So we're going to have to at least discuss forming a community engagement committee, something that, like what I've been talking about with volunteers. They could tackle the whole the volunteer process, for the city of Estacada. They could tackle that. They could, work up a plan, to get these volunteers to get their information, get the information out to them every time there's an event. Because I don't want you guys to be the volunteers at your own events. I want you guys out there making those events as good as they can be, rather than manning a booth, DEC committee members manning a roadblock for the 4th of July parade. I would rather you guys be involved in your event, making your event as good as it can possibly be. So that's just one thing that a community engagement committee can do. And but it will be a future agenda item where we really want to push it. Even the mayor wants to get that going. So we'll it'll be we'll get something together. Hopefully we can get maybe some of the DEI members that we're committed will we'll apply for that.
I wonder if in that effort, it might be a good idea to have another committee summit where we would have some networking between the committees. I know in the time that I've been here, that's happened a handful of times.
Yeah.
But I know show attendance wasn't great always.
Yeah, I've thrown the idea out there of maybe forming an ad hoc committee for volunteerism. Getting one committee member from each committee to volunteer to come in and just brainstorm ideas, because it's saddening to me that 15 years ago with less than half the population that we had volunteers coming out the woodworks. I mean, we never lacked for volunteers at summer celebration. We never lacked for volunteers at the 4th of July parade. We never lacked for volunteers at Timber Festival. And it's something that's really hard to I don't know what the problem is. I mean, we have double the population. We have double the amount of kids going to our schools. We just need to figure out a way to engage with those people, with the new people that have come to town, with the people like me that have been here for 30 plus years. We just need to figure out a way to engage with them to get them out here. Before it was easy because, you know, we get the kids involved and then the parents would come along with them. But, you know, everybody's so busy. It's a busy world. Just trying to get that mindset. We are still a small town. We still need to come together, and volunteerism is a great way for that. So that's just one thing that I'm really trying to push, is to get that together. And a great way to do that is with the community engagement committee. So yeah.
We'll stay tuned.
Thank
Good
you.
luck on your mission. All right, if everyone could take a moment to look over the March minutes, if you haven't had an opportunity to do so.
Move to approve once everyone's read and through.
I second it.
Those in favor? Aye, all right, the motion passes. We do have a couple updates on our, we have some Arts at the Creek vendor fees that have come through. Our grant has come through, which is wonderful. So we've got some things coming through. Only those few things added, I think, so far in the budget. And in terms of mail and correspondence, I didn't get a chance to check the mail, but I assume there's nothing there.
Facebook message from somebody who wanted to know if there was indoor booths available for Arts at the Creek. And I let them know that there was not.
There is not.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've had lots of communication about Arts at the Creek, but that seems kind of nitpicky and can be wrapped in with the update. And then there's been one more, I'll be sending another letter of support or two more letters of support for the art back. So I did talk to Katinka about that. As well as I was able to go to the Spiral Gallery Co-ops meeting at the beginning of the month and speak with them in person. It was awesome. They were super excited to have us there and to make that connection. We're welcome to come to their meetings. I got some email contact information if we want to be put on the agenda for their meetings. We have one of their artists who has applied to be a vendor at Arts at the Creek. So that's great. And then some of them were excited about possibly participating in the Art in the Library project as well.
Did you find out when their regular co-op meetings are?
It's
Oh, wait, we're talking about Spiral?
Yep.
Okay, sorry,
Yep.
for a minute, I was like, wait, are we
It's
still
the
talking about?
first
Okay,
Monday after the first Friday.
okay.
She said, I was like, yes, the first Monday after the first Friday. So it's not on a specific date
Right.
about that. But it was fun to be a part of their meeting. I think there were probably 7 or 8 of them there. One of them, I got to listen to a new person present their work who wanted to be part of the co-op. It was just really good to make that connection. I told them
Yeah.
we want this to be open communication. I'd love to show up to your meetings fairly regularly just to be a part of what you're doing and to tell you what we're doing. I think there were lots of smiles and nods, lots of people that we know who I think appreciate the connection. So that was a
And
good
if you
connection.
want to not, I think it would be great if someone from council went, maybe not every meeting, but
That's, every once in a while, I
often,
think we just go
and I would be willing to, a Monday a month or every other month or every third month or whatever,
I think it makes sense to do it kind of on an when we have things to present or
Coming
to
up,
tell them
totally.
about. But yeah, so that was really exciting. It was nice to actually be able to have an in-person connection with a core group of them.
Mhm.
That was great. That's not really correspondence, but it's a connection. I'm
Well, it's
filing
good
it
we could
under that.
Leverage some of the artists and their product on
Mhm.
our.
Yeah, if
Facebook
we're
page,
going to continue on with that, the featured
Yeah.
artist idea.
And use
Um,
that as a resource for
They're
those.
not a nonprofit, so we can't promote their first Friday the way we would like to. But we can go in and use that as an avenue to make connections with artists.
The
to
individual
promote.
artists, yeah.
Mhm.
Very good.
So that was exciting.
Well done.
Yeah, so it was good to make that connection. so we'll just jump right into the updates. If we could take a quick peek at sort of the back of our pile, I have my draft of the work plan. Just a summary of the things that we are doing. I would love any notes. Deborah's already given me hers. Already made some edits, but we'll be submitting this alongside the budget after this meeting, as long as it is approved. Sorry, it's upside down. My husband printed it.
Well, I have a little bit of a Art in the Park update, but when we get there, we can get there, but
Is it May 10th?
it is May 10th and
Okay,
we,
I'll add that.
and it's the Young Makers Fair.
Young Makers Fair, okay. But not this year, or this year also?
I don't know. I'm not sure if they are able to roll it on this year. or
Okay,
not.
I'll put that as a Young Makers Fair. I love that.
That's great.
That's really cool. I'll add that in as like because this will be technically,
Subheading.
yeah, a subheading, exactly. And I guess, do I need to put that, because this is my work plan for next year, May 2026. Yikes.
Oh, buddy, yeah, we're already.
Right?
joined,
Is that
yeah.
the only thing I need to change the date on though? Because everything else is in this fiscal year, right? Chalk
Art
walk.
for City Hall to fall 2026.
Yeah, it all,
Well, that's this year. Art for City Hall,
we're doing that.
2025. That's this
That
calendar.
is- Okay,
Okay.
It would be whatever would come between January and June of next year, which is,
Time is hard.
it is.
Okay. No, I think that would be number one.
a lot of things like it's fall, but it's also fall/ongoing. Just we do a lot in the fall after we've done the eventy things over the spring and summer.
On the percent for public art, I met with Melanie about something else and we discussed our possible involvement and I know I talked about it with Melanie. I think it was Alex or someone else. So Jamie, that's my daughter there.
Oh,
Oh, you should
Yeah.
have said that. We know you, Jamie.
Well, I waved at her.
You waved, huh?
Said she would be willing to help walk us through some basic guidelines so that because she used to be the Alex for Happy Valley and help them set their goals and objectives. And there's some things to be aware of and that she'd be willing to meet with us or a subset of us and kind of walk through some of the things that they found. So we don't have to recreate the wheel totally.
Awesome.
So Jamie, am I correct in this? Did I misstep? I don't know. She may be doing something. Okay. All right.
So does anyone have any edits after like a look over of that work plan? Does it look okay? Passes muster? Does somebody do we move to approve this? We probably need to approve this too. Can I get a move to
I
approve?
move to approve.
Or
our
in a
work-
second?
Or work plan for
I will
2025.
second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Hi.
All right, so we'll submit the work plan. I'll attach it to your budget and send it in. Okay, great. Commissioner openings, like Jerry said, we can have up to 9. There's only 5, 6, 5 and 1. So we still have room for 4 more. Mike is putting in his application. He was resubmitting it today. There must have been a technical error. He will be resubmitting it, but other than that, we have not had other applications. So please continue to spread the word, peer pressure your friends, all that jazz. And we don't have anything to formally go over. I assume that we're all, maybe it's when he does apply, I think it's fair to assume that we support Mike coming back to the commission
Yeah, he was a
or
really
continuing on.
great help in the years I've been on it.
So hopefully can we say that now? We have to wait till it's after have the
Right.
application. Okay, so next meeting we'll review that. And then this year, in lieu of coming to all of these meetings, we have the Committee 101 training video, which is just like the ethics and thing go over. So we will be doing that now. Smart that she's doing that, so she doesn't have to go and repeat every single meeting. That's a lot. Yeah, and if we have questions about this, we can go ahead and note them and reach out to her after, because I know we often have clarifications. Kind of quiet.
Well, not anymore. Okay.
Is the volume at the bottom there up, maybe? Is that it?
Bear in mind that moving forward, if your committee is or
I was just gonna
six,
say, we gotta be careful because
yeah,
three of us
three
is
is a
quorum.
quorum. So any subcommittees,
Oh.
so any subcommittees that you have,
Can only be two people.
have to be two people unless we can get. unless we
Technically,
can
Mike's
get
not
more-
on the committee, so I think we're still good, but we couldn't for Arts of the Creek.
Unless we can get more butts in these seats, which is what we're hoping for. Just remember moving forward at this point with either 5 or 6, 3 people is a quorum. So.
But, okay. I was gonna say, we could get together to work. We couldn't get together and make decisions. Or, no, you couldn't, yeah, no, I hear it. I hear it. Never mind. Okay, yeah, so we need to be careful about that with a small group. Okay. That was an odd ending, but I guess we're done.
It sounded like you're free to eat or something.
All right.
I was like,
And be good to each other. The end.
I do have a question. Is there any specific skill that you guys are lacking?
And we put a little
For committee
summary
members?
in our Facebook post, we put a little summary of some things that we were looking for.
Okay.
So
Yeah, just
it's in
wanted-
our Facebook post a little bit.
As you're recruiting people, just remember that you want to get the right people in here. Like Dave coming in with, his writing, his poetry and stuff, Mike coming in with his experience in music. Bev with her wealth of knowledge.
every topic.
And what you two ladies bring to the table, is amazing. So just keep that in mind as you're doing your recruiting to get more people on board.
Is what you're posting on Facebook, is it also posted on the city's site? Because there's some of us who are chosen not to be on Facebook.
I don't know where it would go on the cities.
Could you, under the committee somewhere? And I can direct
I
people
think
there.
it could be somewhere on our main page, right? Where like there are openings available.
Mhm.
That would be great.
That would be great. So.
Yeah, our feeling very limited in the way we're communicating that out to the world.
Yeah, I removed myself from Facebook. There were groups on the Estacada site that were so abusive, they should have been turned over to the police. They're absent. And I says, I don't have to go through this. I would delete everything. I'm done.
I know, we're very lacking in the
I'm
way we're
not sure in
communicating.
our blurb, do we have someone, it might be good to have like someone with event planning.
Yeah.
Like that might be a skill.
I mean, we could look up what the blurb is. I think we put on what we would love somebody that could help with social media, with marketing.
Now that we've taken off the yoke of trying to beg for money. I mean, that was just the last meeting where we realized like,
But that was kind of in the realm of like the event promotion, which is the piece of it that we really need help with.
right.
But I think, do you have it? Do you want to read it?
Sure.
Just the part that we're looking for people.
Okay. It says, we are looking for folks who have an interest in volunteering at our local events, who might be computer savvy and or willing to help with social media postings, and or an interest in involvement in local arts, theater, music, writing, visual arts, etc. These are not must-haves, just an idea of skills that we hope to add to our commission.
It should be everyone.
Pretty open.
Very good.
Well, I didn't want to be too specific in it because we don't also like, before I was on the commission, I was like, ooh, I don't know, like, I don't have like a niche,
Right.
But then,
That's-
like-
I thought we had something about fundraising on there, and that's kind of my point was like, we
Yeah.
could kind of cross that
I
off.
want to be
and-
relatively open, and then, because I think people also come with more skills than they're sometimes aware of.
Totally.
And where they bring a lot more to the table than they might on paper.
Totally.
sometimes. So yes, let's make sure we spread that far and wide. That would be great. And yeah, if we could get on the website, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So we can share it
Does
to
our-
other ways too.
Deborah, does the library website post city vacancies and stuff like that?
We really don't have a spot for it
Yeah.
now.
Okay. I was just wondering, I feel like I've seen it in other places, but I can't, maybe in the newspaper. I bet in the newspaper. I'm like, I can't think of where.
The reader board out
The
here
reader board
has been, with, sourcing, and it mentioned the Arts Council. And
well, I think it said that about openings on city commissions.
Right.
That's where it was.
The deadline for many applications, but I'll probably put it back.
I mean, because I mean, it's really
Well,
like,
yeah,
are any
Parks-
commissions all the way
Parks
full?
really needs people too, so.
I don't think
they
any
just want,
commissions
like,
are all the way
people.
full, are they?
Downtown Estacada. I think they're looking to add one more.
So yeah, if we could get that back on the reader board. that
Thank
would be
you.
Awesome. Okay,
Okay.
all right. So if we want to go through and just do some quick updates on our upcoming things. Dave and Deborah, did you want to say anything about where we are with the poetry in public places? We got lots of submissions, which is great.
Our deadline was the 15th and we had, I believe, 20 written writers who sent things in. And they could submit up to 5 poems each, so we could have a couple, 100 poems to choose from, which should be good. We got no submissions for the graphic design for the signs, in light of which I would like to make a couple of motions. So the subcommittee on selecting the poems for display can go ahead and get to work whenever you are ready. And I'll point out that subcommittee has only 2 committee members on it. I'm not in that. Excuse me. I'd like to move that in light of having no submissions for the visual design, that we contact a local artist for the fee that would have been the prize money, the $200, that we contact a local artist to do a design for the signs.
Do you have someone in mind?
That's another motion. I'm making one motion now.
It makes sense that we hire someone.
I can go to move to approve your motion. I can't.
You can second it,
There you go. I can second it.
and now we can discuss it.
Yeah, all those in favor of hiring someone for graphic design?
Yeah, I
Aye.
think that's a great idea. Since we had
Aye.
the money in it to give it to someone anyway, might as well.
I would also move to be authorized to contact Vince Summer, who has done gratis work for the commission on several occasions in the past as the beginning point for that. I have no idea if he's interested or not,
You might be
but
able to point you
I'd
out.
be happy to contact him and see. So I'll move that I'm authorized to contact Vince Summer too.
I think that's
Do
a
that.
great, I think that's a great idea.
Well,
I have-
Second again.
Okay.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yeah.
Now, if that doesn't work out and he's not interested, then I'm at a loss because I have very limited community.
But there's gotta be some folks that the city
Well,
use
certainly
for
the
like
spiral.
sign design.
There's a lady I met who is applying to be on DEC. She's a graphic artist. And I'd have to go through my business cards to get her name, but apparently I'm guessing she'll be on there. That would just be
downtown.
another,
Could you get that name? to
yeah,
me?
I'll try to find it.
Note to self later.
Yeah,
My motion is to
but do
Yeah,
Vincent.
contact
Yeah.
Vince. then-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you need a motion for that. I think just consensus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great,
Hmm.
that makes sense. So then, what were you muttered something, but did you need somebody to help with?
I need to know where submissions are and if they are in a format.
Kind of what I want.
Mhm.
Okay.
I was thinking like Google would probably be the easiest place to put them all in one place. But I need to do a little more. Like, I need to figure it out. So I will work on that and getting that probably on Google and try and make it shareable.
And if you
That would
could
be good.
mark it with some letter coding, the
Mhm.
1 through 20, 1 through 20,
Mhm.
but keep it separate in a file because
Yeah.
Can one person have 5 of their own poems?
Yes.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Yeah.
put them out there, but somehow code
And they
it,
were
so.
supposed to submit things without any identification of
Okay.
poems. So we have
Some did better than others. with
contact to
that.
the company.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to,
You can
yeah,
copy and
I'm gonna have
paste.
to-
All right.
yeah.
So
Give
any
a little
code you
look
make
at
up that you can keep track of will be just fine.
It's all in the folder in my email right now, so, but I will work on that.
Okay, and do you need anyone else or no, because I know Jean was supposed to be helping with that.
I will see if Gina can still do it. If not, I think we definitely need one more person
To read, was that
to
the?
read. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I know her work has gotten a lot, so yeah, she bowed out of a couple of things recently.
But we have the 2 people that are going to be the official judges, right?
It was Emily and
judges.
Chelsea,
That
and
would
then
be
I think
3.
Jean was gonna be the third
And me.
and
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think decision-making groups, it's better to have an odd number of
Mhm.
people. Not odd.
Odd people, I was
But
just-
not an odd number. If we're odd people, I'd be right in there.
Just 3.
Maybe that would make voting easy.
Okay.
But I mean, reach out if you need someone to jump in. Okay, great. Then are we thinking the?
I have one other thing that we need to think about. We don't have to decide tonight, but if we put the a QR code on the signs, we need to talk about, number one, what do we want that QR code to connect them to? And do we have the technical facilities to do that? And
Yeah.
you do? Okay, and
Yep.
can we get Alex's time to do that?
I mean, making a QR code is super easy.
Yep.
No, but I mean, what are we gonna use it
Monitoring
for?
it,
What are we
doing the
gonna use
QR,
it for?
yeah. Who's gonna be
Yeah.
in charge of checking?
I know
Are you thinking about like, it would be somebody like the reading the voice or?
well, the
something?
project that we are copying from, they had the writers make a
Saying their
uh,
own.
they made a recording of the authors reading their poetry,
That'd
which
be nice.
would be really nice, but it's kind of complicated. And I'm also thinking it
Should
might be
be.
good to have directions on that, so that if you looked at one, you could then find out where the other ones
Well,
are.
and something might also be, you might need to check with the poets, right, to make sure that they would be comfortable doing that, because that wasn't really part of the proposal.
No,
in the first
yeah,
place.
you just contact them. They don't have to do it,
Yeah, so it's just
But-
as an
But as
option
part of
to add
our
on.
presentation of those poems, if we, in some cases, they had trouble contacting people or getting a good recording, and other people read the poems,
Okay.
staff people read them, so.
Yeah.
It'd be very easy to have 2 QR codes on, one with the master map of where everything's located.
Well, if we're gonna do the design,
Hmm.
I don't know if we need to put two separate ones, Alex, that'd be your advice?
I don't know. That's,
Okay.
It,
I feel
That
like
might be
we could
that
probably
better.
just do one QR code that took them to a page
that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying.
that
Yeah.
has
What
all
if
of the
it was a-
recordings
Yeah.
and all of the information.
Because it could be like a
Yeah.
landing page on our website.
That's what I,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like a
and then
page
if
on
if
the
I
website.
was, if I would be managing it, that's what I would
Two,
Okay.
Q-
do.
two
So,
QR codes could
Yeah.
be kind of an eyesore
Too
on
much,
our
yeah,
side.
too much, in my opinion. But if we had just one that led them to the
Like a
main
page on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can work out.
And then would also have the map of where the
Yep.
rest are located. That's
Yep.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels like all.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just thought we should think about these things a little bit
Yeah.
ahead of time before we.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that you could ask him about it in the design too,
Yeah.
like put a
Yeah.
QR code on there. somewhere.
Awesome.
Great.
As far as I know, that's all I have to say about it.
And we could, if you're reaching out to him, just a thought about whether or not, and I don't know if we've gotten the information yet about that logo for Estacada, if we wanted to incorporate an Estacada logo on the design. That's,
That's a
sign itself.
requirement, but I was thinking of the one with the river,
Mhm.
Estacada with the river.
Like
in it.
that one right behind you there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's
okay.
the-
We have
yeah.
I have the logo packages. So if you have an artist, I can send them to them.
Okay.
No problem.
okay, great. All right, and now I jump to anything else about poetry in public places? Check in next month with some movement. All right, and Deborah, do you want to add anything about art in the library? I didn't see anything like added about like extending deadline or anything. Did we?
Oh, I need to do that.
Can,
Just indefinite, like, is there a deadline?
Well, we were planning to have the show start
Right,
sometime in May.
May.
Um,
So
It's now
maybe,
April, so.
and
May
at the
1st.
moment, it would be a very small show on just one of the on the smaller wall at the library. We've had 4 artists
Okay.
submit stuff, but we still have another week, so we might get a bunch more people apply, I hope. We'll see.
And I'm pretty,
Deadlines do have an effect on people.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
usually come in right after the deadline.
A lot of the poetry.
Now that we have this spiral line of communication open, can we shoot them another
I-
email reminder of the?
I don't think they're gonna communicate very well via email, but I went and personally handed the flyers to everyone at the meeting and like made a whole thing about it. So they
Okay.
definitely might show up with some, but I
Okay.
know Bev had something to say.
oh, I committed to do a collage for you, but I've got so
Awesome.
much information and so much graphic and data and I'll cover that later, but it's probably going to be quite a few that focus on the school, the government, the real, you know, the deeding, just the development at 1905. So there's artifacts that I'm be drawing on, so it's just not 2-dimensional pictures with news clippings. But so I talked to Elaine from Philip Foster Farm, and I'll get more into that. But there's a lot of artifacts that I can actually bring in. So maybe some actual readers from the 1900, and I have a newspaper from 1900, and there's things that can go in there. So I actually need to take a tour, so I don't want to like, I tend to overdo things. So I need to
No.
pull it back. So, you know, I don't want to take over an entire wall, but I could.
That's great. I mean,
Well,
we
the
need
library,
that.
There's only 2 walls.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
So, but there's also this entire space here.
Well, yes, and that's something that I'll talk about at the end.
Okay.
So, yeah, there we go.
Okay. All right.
Oh, and Alex did order our additional hanging bars, so we have another
Oh, that's great.
12 square feet of hanging space.
Perfect.
Nice.
Awesome.
Coming soon.
All right. And then we're off to Alicia.
So I gave part of my update earlier. It's Young Makers Fair for art at the Art in the Park, Young Makers Fair for now on. Like I said, they just lost half their council, so, and Steve is made chair now, so God help them. When it comes to being organized.
Who's on the council still? Do you know?
It's 2 women, I can't remember their
Brianna?
names, that, yes, and another one,
That's all I got.
and Steve.
And my son-in-law,
And
Ryan.
yeah, I was gonna say, and her son-in-law.
Okay.
But I don't know any of their names, but yeah, so that's 4, right? But anyway, so he's been made chair and he didn't know, like, 'cause I was like, we know it's on May 10th, we know the time. I said, you guys got a table, you guys got your own signage, and he's like, I think so. So we'll see what happens.
Would you like me to just go ahead and make a little visual and make the Google form and send it to him? As like, it would not take me that long to just duplicate what I did last year and send it his way to, because I'm worried about, like, it's April 2nd, and if kids are gonna really get in creation mode.
So I think that's, they've got
They
that.
did that?
That part's
Okay.
covered,
Okay.
I think. I mean, I didn't really go into the nitty gritty
I've-
of how they're running.
Just like, I've had 2
Reaching
different
out
people
to
reach
kids.
out to me wondering if we're doing it this year. And I'm
Maybe.
like,
Then go
I
ahead.
don't have a form or anything to send them, so.
Yeah, no, they have the forms. I mean, I sent that all to Vincent when he was still there. I'm assuming, you know,
I'm just wondering.
that
'cause
they have a
it's-
Google Doc or something like we do that they could all get into, even when Vincent's gone, they can all get to that information. But if you would
Will
like
you
to
just
send him an email,
ask
that'd be
him
fine.
if he has the Google form?
The vendor application, the youth vendor application form? Sure.
I worry that if they wait for too long, like they don't have another meeting for like what, it's the end of the month.
Yeah, they just had their meeting yesterday or Monday.
So
This
I'm
month's
I
meeting.
hope they're planning on making a social media post about that soon so that we can share it as well.
None of them are, I don't know who's on social media.
That's why I'm
Steve
like,
doesn't have
should I
any social
just-
media.
'Cause I'm
Do
the
they
one-
ask you, you run their social media? No? Ally does, okay. So that
Just-
would be up to them.
Because last year I'm the one that did the visual and the Google Doc. They didn't do that last year. So that's why I'm just saying, if they need it to be done again, I could just tweak it and send it to them so that it could get posted.
Okay, yes, I can ask him if they need the applications.
And you can tell him
sent.
that I did do it last year. So I have access to it. I mean, and they do also, but it might have been, I mean, it was to their,
I mean, I
email.
just forwarded it to them 2
Okay.
months ago from
Okay.
us
Yeah.
after per our that
okay.
meeting.
Just if they need help with it, I'm happy to do so to help them get it out sooner than later.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you do a email to the whole committee? Cause I don't, maybe Steve might not even know what he doesn't know. And that,
yeah, I don't have any of their contact information.
oh, okay, me neither. I mean, except for Steve's.
Is there somebody who's supposed to be like partnering with you on that?
It was gonna be, I think it was gonna be Steve and Vincent. And now it's just so, Vincent did everything they're realizing. And so
Well, that's what I'm saying is that
they're
he-
literally trying to pick up the pieces now and figure out like
I have some input
what
on
needs to be
this.
done. She was at their last meeting.
Yes, I have some input. I just heard from Ryan. He said we sent out a call to artists and it was in the water bill. So it went to everyone's home.
Okay,
So can they
Okay.
post that on Facebook so that we can
or
promote
ask
it?
them
Or
if their staff will post it.
Yeah, I think the
ask them
staff
if
will
their
have to.
staff will post it, and if they could send a, Ryan, if you guys could send a copy of that information, we can repost it on Facebook. But if I could get the, I need the link to be able to share that with the people that are reaching out to me about it.
I bet their staff person would have it. Probably.
I was gonna say, Alex, can you ask Ally to maybe email that
Getting
to
input.
Jesse?
And stuff like that, we can share on the library social media, like wouldn't go,
Awesome.
it won't go on our website, but we can definitely do Instagram and Facebook for that.
Rad, okay, that's good.
Doesn't
to know.
look like you've posted anything since like.
But yeah, so like I said, the meeting I went to was when they were mostly fully staffed. And they were very receptive to having more of a obvious presence.
Mhm.
Great.
And so,
And Ryan just said that Ally added a QR code
oh, nice.
to Ryan's draft that went out, I think, in the water bill. So with that QR code, if we're able to, if we could get that from Ally, the QR code and the data, that could drive whoever it is directly to the forms. So
Yeah, and I do think,
There is one thing about like when you have a QR code on your phone, you
You
can't
can't-
go to it.
you have to use
You
another
kind of need it
device.
on paper.
Well, that's, I mean, I know
So-
Parks has like 1,700 followers on Facebook. A lot of people go to their Facebook for those events, so I hope they plan on posting it on Facebook. I know that we're like we want to post it on other places, but I do think especially for Parks events, like they have a lot of, their posts get a lot of visibility.
Um,
And a flyer to hang at the library.
I don't
and
think
here.
they've made
City Hall.
physical paper flyers. I'm almost positive they have not. Because I also, you said you would help them
Yeah.
because they lost their student liaison. But they have yet to give me anything, so I'm guessing it does not exist.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, so
so again, if they need help with that, please let me know. Happy to do it. I have the ones from last year. Would love to get that out, and I'm happy to email the people that, the youth vendors that we've have at Arts at the Creek. Like, I like to share that stuff with them, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel and we can find, because we have a lot of great youth vendors that we, have communicated with in the past. But I know you shared the ones from that form, so they'll hopefully reach
Mhm.
out to last year's as well. So, okay, great. Well, stay tuned. We would love to promote it as much as possible. I just know, it's coming up.
yeah,
And that was a big part of the issue last year, was like, it was very last minute, so we'd love to get ahead of that more. And Isabella will let you know when we know.
this
Sounds like.
might not be much to let know.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I talked to the counselor at the school, and he said that he would love to send out flyers and stuff and like put up posters for anything
Awesome.
they can.
Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome. We just need the flyer to send out.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. I'll just do a real quick Arts at the Creek update. I put the call for artists out to the Clackamas County Arts Coalition, and we have like 19 vendors that have applied so far. I've communicated with about 10 of them. Like a bunch came in since I did the most recent post of the opportunity, like in their little digest email. So I have more to come out or more to connect with about that. We have like a pretty wide variety of artists coming, so that's pretty exciting. We also had Timbertown Grub confirm that they will vend. So we have 2 real food carts,
Timber and
which
Chris,
is very
that's-
exciting. I have to get them to fill out the form still, but they are kind of those people, they said like, when we're in, and we will be there. We won't let you down.
Awesome.
So we have Christie's and Timbertown Grub, which when I spoke to her before, Lynn, she was saying like, for this size event, like 2 good food carts are great. And then some little things to make sure that those carts like get a lot of business.
I was gonna suggest that if you could contact the lobster people that go up to Bent Shovel, like one Saturday, you know, get them to come to your event, that'd
Well,
probably draw a lot.
They are right next to Timbertown. But I don't know how movable they are, but we could definitely ask them because they're all in the same little.
I'm talking about the lobster truck
Is
that,
that different from the Bayou Brothers?
yeah, this
Oh.
one is it's a traveling one that goes up to Bent Shovel. I'll try to find the name.
Them too.
But they go up to Bent Shovel on Springwater, like one Saturday every other month or something, and it's just a absolutely huge turnout. So many
Yeah.
people go there.
Could
I
you
will try to
remember the
find
name?
it, yeah.
Well, I just know that they also had been over at Bent Shovel before, so I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about the.
I've gotten them at
Bayou.
Trouble. The Bayou Brothers guys have been there too.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
that's why I was
All,
like,
all
oh.
last summer, they were there.
Yeah, the Bayou Brothers have opened up next to Timbertown. So it's Timbertown and the Bayou Brothers, and they're only open on weekends, but they're doing like crab boils and crawfish boils. And
I
all this
will
cool stuff.
look into it, and if it is them,
Well-
I'll still let you know.
I don't think it is, I think it is 2 carts.
Yeah.
No, I think it's 2 different ones.
Well,
Because
either
they're
would
more of
be
a New
great.
England lobster roll style, and these guys are more
Cajun.
po' boys, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but super excited to have like 2 real food trucks here. I think that would
Yeah.
be great. We have like 5 youth vendors. We're still holding about 9 or 10 community organizations that are getting involved. I have 2 questions to bring to the group about the vendors. Alicia and I've spoken about one. I think we've come to a consensus about it, but I knew this was going to happen. We had a 3D printer apply to be a vendor. This has not come up before, but I've been kind of waiting for it because they're popping up everywhere. And I replied and I said, my thing about the 3D printers is I know like when you're doing 3D printed art, 3D printed things, you're purchasing licenses and making things. So you're like choosing your color and pressing print. And so my question was, but I also know that you can do really cool designs and really amazing creative things. So my question, no, it's okay. Let me tell me in a minute when I have my phone. But my question to them was, we really want to respect and be open-minded to all different art forms as things change. Do you design your own things, or are you purchasing licenses and printing things? And so I just threw that out to them after you and I discussed it. They sent me a really lovely email, super thoughtful. Like, we totally understand if we don't fit your criteria, but yes, we just buy licenses and print things. They choose the color, they print things. I would like to know what you all think about that. In my mind, that feels like, I think that's a really cool thing that you do, but we're not a vendor fair. We're doing like handmade things. They're not actually creating something
Like if
new.
you
They're
created
making
your own
something new.
design and 3D printed it, that would be.
Or
a
if you're
diff-
3D printing it and turning it into something.
Right.
Or,
Do they paint or decorate, or how do they use?
no,
It's
it's
just
print and sell.
Okay.
So
So
like
it's
they'll
like
print
you-
and sell a bunch of dragons or print and sell a bunch
Right.
of planters.
Right.
And I think it's cool, but I'm not sure it fits what we're doing. And I just wanted to bring that to the commission, so I'm not making that call on my own.
So that is a lot like maybe ordering dragons off Amazon and like a
Reselling them.
ton of bobbleheads or something, and then being like setting up a booth. So we
And
wouldn't,
technically
I
the
don't
machine is
think,
making it, but they're not hand making it.
I
and
don't think
they're
that
not
we would consider that.
They're not
handmade art
creating anything.
Or handmade art.
And unique.
But if they were gonna design, like, you know, draw out their own dragon
Well, and you can
and
do that
print
with
that
3D
out,
printed
then
stuff.
that would be different. I think that would
Totally.
count.
I think that would count if you
Yeah.
were making your own things, not buying licenses for other things.
Yeah, I
Do
agree.
you guys agree?
Or like chopping it all up and
I
like
think we're dealing
collaging
with
it
a
all or
really
something. that
new
would be different
technology.
too.
It's been out there, but it's more accessible now, even to
Mhm.
own your own for like, I mean, I was checking into buying one myself for like $1,600.
Yeah,
but
Vince
those were
has
the
one. He
end.
makes cool
But,
stuff.
but we're dealing with a new technology that we're all trying to grapple with.
Mhm.
And so I think it is a form of art, but I'm not sure. I think they would be wonderful to have as a vendor at some of our other festivals here. Because I think it would be highly successful,
They
especially
have,
if it.
this group has vended at like Oktoberfest. And they
Mhm.
are popular things, but I also feel like I want to respect the other artists who were there. You know, and
Yeah.
we're promoting artists and creators. So again, I think if they had, the 3D printer is a really beautiful tool, and if you're using it to create your own things, then
Mhm.
that would qualify in my mind. Like if you're designing your own things and making your own things, or even if you were printing something and modifying it or painting it or
Well,
transforming it or doing something with
And we
it.
have all these people though who are crocheting. They're not doing their own patterns. They're crocheting from a pattern. It's
That's
ki-
what
we're
Alicia. brought
kind
up
of-
too. But you're hand creating something.
You're
still.
not putting
not
it through a
using
crochet machine.
Yeah.
Mass produce when you're crocheting
Mhm.
in the same way that you are when you're 3D printing.
Well, 3D printing, you're choosing color and pressing print, and crocheting, you're sitting there and creating. It's like something that you're creating with your hands. I mean, handmade is part of we're
Yeah.
looking for handmade things.
It's okay to say no. Because
Yeah.
we have so many vendors.
Well, I'm just bringing it to us because
But
I don't
it's-
know. This is like,
we're dealing with a new art form
territory.
that we're trying to grapple with ourselves.
Yeah,
and they were very sweet. They were very understanding. It was like a very much, we totally understand if we don't fit what you do.
Yeah.
And Bev, I was the same literal, that was
that was exactly the example. that she
yeah, I
gave.
was like, yeah, I mean, they're making it. And I said about crocheting, and then I kind of was thinking about it later and was like, yeah, you know, it's like if you were to get a paint by numbers kit and then paint, that would still be doing something. But if you're gonna get a paint by numbers kit and then a printer and then a 3D, it's like, did you actually do any of it?
And can I say,
you
can I
know.
read this little section that she wrote? Just so that we're hearing it from the actual vendor. She said she does not personally design the 3D models that I print. Instead, I purchase their designs to print using my 3D printers, after which I market and sell the final products. My focus is on high quality printing, material selection, and finishing techniques to ensure that each piece meets a professional standard. Based on this, I understand that my work may not fully fit within the handcrafted category, as the original design is not my own. However, I do consider my work a form of production or manufacturing, as I make decisions regarding colors, sizes, materials, and overall presentation of the final product. While I do not create the designs from scratch, I take an active role in bringing them to life through my printing process. I think she kind of said it right there. It's sort of more production or manufacturing than it is.
I think if she were offering 3D productions that could be painted and customized, someone buys it with that little art kit or something to paint, that would be different.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
Okay. Well, I will respond to her with this sentiment.
Yeah.
And thanking her for letting us work through it, because I knew this was coming. We've been waiting for it to come. You see these people popping up. We're like, okay, here it is.
Would there be any issue on having the right power sources for doing that sort of thing? Power?
You'd
Well,
probably
she
make 'em at
probably does
home.
them off-site.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because isn't it like a big, I
It's
don't
a
know.
big thing.
Yeah,
And it takes out.
It takes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so she's bringing stuff in.
Mhm.
Yeah, that.
So,
mhm,
okay,
sure.
so that was one thing. The other thing that just popped up today, actually this afternoon when I opened it up was, and I don't know if we can do this. Somebody wants to sell a alcohol. She's like, with
Oh,
OL,
like
well, I'll deal
homemade?
with OLC and it's for off-site consumption. I was like, this feels like a no thing. Okay, no, thank you. That's all I need to hear. So I was like, I think it's like craft distillery. And I was like, but the people will just
mead
buy it and walk
and
over
stuff,
there and drink
yeah.
it. And then there goes our family friendly thing.
So the name of the lobster truck is Cousins Maine Lobster. Oh, did you already find it?
And yeah, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, it's so good.
okay. Was that their Facebook that you were looking at?
No, they're at Bench Shovel. I don't know when they're there again.
Let's see if we can reach out. Cool. I'll reach
Oh,
out.
I did have I have an update that I have no update from Ivan, from Boba. But I was going through where's my phone? I was going through our message thread with him, and we must have discussed that it would be okay to get back to us around beginning of May. Cause remember, he wanted to be like, well, when do I have to know? And and this might have been at a subcommittee a subcommittee
It's fine if he gets
meeting
back to us.
by the start of May. Okay, cause I haven't heard, I've been getting like, oh, it's coming, and trying to get all my ducks in a row. And then I was like, oh, when is he gonna contact me? And then I went back and was like, oh, I told him
Yeah.
just by the beginning of May, so
Oh, and I forgot
I
we
guess
will
I'm
have,
waiting.
we'll have Girl Scouts there too,
Nice.
selling, like bottled water.
So yeah, so he was gonna do boba just with a table, not their cart, and then maybe his cousins did cotton candy
Cotton
and
We'll stay
other
tuned.
other
Wait a minute.
candies and stuff.
Estacada Youth Cheer. If you want somebody to do snow cones,
I think, are we not doing, don't we have the ice cream truck?
We do have the ice cream. We have
Yeah.
GDC treats.
Okay.
Not not snow cones specifically, but
because they do cotton candy or snow cones. So
Yeah.
So
I think that we spoke about that as a commission about not having them. It was a bit of a mess last year.
okay, fair enough.
They came without power source and left after like 2 hours and it was just not very well organized.
Thank you.
I think that am I correct?
Yeah, they just showed up unprepared and then left early.
And it was a little bit hard.
And-
They had kids running around like telling everybody to go buy cotton candy. It was just a little,
They were coming up to each of the vendors. They're like,
yeah. It was didn't work
Fair enough.
super great. So that's Arts at the Creek, just sort of updating. I'll just kind of give our little updates as we go. And then, this summer passport, I reached out to Vince and he's gonna work on doing like a coloring page version of it
Nice.
and have it to me by the end of this month. So at the May meeting,
Mm.
hopefully I'll have his artwork with my draft of it on the back. And I'm hoping to show up or communicate with commissions about summer events and Todos Juntos and Tyra with the Safe Act and all, or that's not what it is, but her other, what's it called? Safe Communities.
Yeah,
Prevention.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Prevention Coalition. So I'm just gonna sort of start doing my reach out. If anybody has ideas about things to put on the passport, if you hear about anything that's happening that would fit on there, please let me know. There's a lot of little squares. And
I'll cover a
happy to-
bunch. in
we're,
minutes.
Great.
we're trying to be somewhat vague, right? So we're not necessarily
can-
naming specific businesses.
No, I think we did the only businesses that we really promoted was we said like, there was a one square that had like enjoy a frozen treat. And we
Right,
said
but
GDC.
vague, that could
We said
be,
GDC and Yo Treats or make your own. Like,
okay,
so we did name a couple.
okay.
But we're trying to, as much as possible, these are like free events that you can, or free events or activities that you can
are
access, not
accessible
like
to
go spend your
everyone.
money here.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I like the one we had last year. I thought, I mean, it pretty
That's
much
great.
checked all the
We didn't get a
boxes.
single email, so we're not gonna do that one again, like the take a picture and email it.
Oh, yeah.
We won't do that one again.
I I don't think we
But-
did that box.
No one did.
No one else did
I
either.
mean,
Well, I
people
don't feel
probably
too bad.
took plenty of pictures, it just didn't email it, which
Yeah.
is fine. Like, we're trying a new thing. This is a very smushy project. So we'll work it out as we go. But I'm hoping to have like a full-on draft by the next meeting, so
Ooh,
that then we can come to the schools in like the first or second week of May, and I'll bring it to them and say, we would like this to go out to all of your kids.
we should put something about the night sky. That was something that was not on the thing last year. Or was it? We were talking about it as a family because we, you know, like stay up late sometimes and like everyone lays out on the grass and we, you know, look at constellations or that we go up the road to look at this, watch the super moon come up and stuff like that. So like enjoy, you know, catch a meteor shower,
Stargazing. Yeah,
stargazing.
meteor shower.
Yeah.
Oh, good idea.
I would like to have a really strong call out box that these are due by this specific date. And here's the location you turn them in. And there will be awards, but just something really strong and bold. So there's not a question of them knowing where to turn it in and the dates.
But we talked about that at our planning meeting, which you were not there for, but we talked about that and there was some disagreement over whether or not we wanted them to focus on turning it back in, if we wanted to do the raffles again. I don't know if you guys want to speak to that. We sort of
Yeah,
talked
I
about that.
think well, I just kind of remember that we were saying it wasn't successful. It was successful in the sense of people were doing them, we hope.
Mhm.
But it was so much, I don't want to expend our council energy in getting stuff for raffles and stuff like that if they're not, you know, if no one's doing it. And then there are plenty of times where we do want to, it's like you don't want to expend your capital as a council on stuff and then it doesn't go fulfill, like no one showed up for that raffle, but then at some other point we might want to, like if we do the Arts of the Creek where we do a raffle there, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how much we want to expend energy on something that
Yeah.
didn't.
I worked hard and I got you a lot of stuff.
You really did, and
I
that was
still
part of
have
it. And that was,
That could come for at
I
the
mean,
end of the
dude,
week.
if
We need to get-
We could raffle it off.
Yeah.
if we want
So-
to use just the same stuff, I would just be like, I wouldn't go and
Yeah, no,
get
I don't
more.
think we have to, if we're not gonna
Yeah.
do it, I'm cool with that.
I think the point is getting it out there. and
getting
having
it
people
done.
use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can, maybe I'll mock up one both ways and then we can continue thinking about it and talking about it.
Or we can, I mean, just go for this summer and be like, if that's it, if they don't turn them in this year, we're done.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll
we
still
did-
do it, but we're not gonna.
And we did only try it
go for that.
once.
Yeah, we only tried it
We've only
once, so
tried
maybe
it
we could
once,
do
so we
it
don't
again.
know. But the question is like, if this year we got 20 turned in,
Well, we'll still
would
only
we
pick,
be
well,
like,
there'll be
would that be
two,
meaningful?
there'll be two winners, you know, or however many raffle
However
prizes
many
we have
raffle
left,
prizes are left.
you know, and if we get a ton of people, that'd be great. If we only get 4 again, well, now we know, and it's been 2 years in a row, and next year we don't have
It's
to.
not
worry
a bad idea to try it one more time and be really explicit. And it also was not super explicit. I was running out of room. I gotta like work on my formatting. Maybe we take off a row to like make more space. Cause there was like a lot of fine print and trying to smush all the QR codes and stuff in. I don't think it's a bad idea to try it we could try it one more year
If
and
we-
see.
I forgot
there
that we
is-
still had stuff.
Oh, it's a
So
lot.
if we still have stuff to give
There is
away,
a
we might as
key
well.
drive to like, you're doing this to complete the thing.
Yeah, that's
So
what
we
did
could do
as.
that and just be a little bit more, like try, like you said, making it bolder, making it more explicit.
And I'm okay with not doing it because it was a lot of work.
I know, you were somewhere.
Came
we might as
back
well
with-
do it one more time.
Anyway, that's okay.
The deadline needs to be earlier
Mhm,
because
before
by
school
Labor
starts.
Day weekend, kids are back in school and
It's gotta be like
it,
August
Summer's over.
20th or something.
Yeah.
There's some advantage too to having some feedback so that you get a sense of
If people
what
are
happened
doing
and
it,
if it's worth.
if it's worth all the
continuing.
effort, yeah. Okay. And like we said, if we still have the stuff to give away, then
Yeah.
we don't want
Yeah.
that to go anywhere. It's not additional work on
Yeah.
your part. It's
Yeah,
just-
I agree. And I
Okay.
kind of, I like the idea of doing it, you know, even if we don't get a ton of feedback, this might be a thing that builds, you know,
Might be a
like
slow.
it might be a thing
It's a
where the
slow
kids are
burn.
like, hey, are we doing that passport thing again?
Mhm.
You know, it's
And
just
it would be, it would
basing
be
whether we're
entirely
successful
different if
or
we're-
not on one summer when it
Mhm.
was, we had a hard time even kind of getting it out, it seemed like, and
Well, this
you
is
know.
entirely different if we're handing it to an entire school of children too. Like that's very different if we're
Yes.
handing it out to an entire school district. Like we're way increasing the impact.
Yep,
So, yeah, we just have fewer raffle or whatever we have left over.
yeah, just
And
say,
still do the Yo treats will still be up. I'm sure she'd still be up because she didn't give it many out last year
yeah.
to give the $1 off for the first 50 or whatever.
Yeah, and I feel like it's such low, and you know, all we have to do is print out a thing, think of
Good job, Matt.
squares,
I
and
still have like 1,200 pairs of sunglasses. So
Yeah.
like, you could also
but
still
it
wear
but it's an
sunglasses.
easy engagement piece to keep out there in people's
Okay,
hands,
I
and
will
and it
work
and
on
it
my-
and it might be a thing of, yeah, you know, you got to get someone doing it to be like, oh yeah, that thing we did, it was so fun. Now we do that every summer, you know.
Right. Okay, we'll do it one more summer and then we'll see how let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Smushy project. All right, this is not on the agenda because I just got the heads up this morning, but Bev wanted to talk about the Founders Day stuff. A little.
The decision to do it, if to do it, and who should lead it has kind of got bounced around. So it's gone from Parks and Rec, and because of the change of leadership there, then Jerry, you asked me to contact finally Hannah Smith. Okay, so I had a meeting with Hannah Smith. It went exceedingly well. Out of that, I've had a meeting with Melanie Wagner. Out of that, I've had a meeting with Philip Foster Farm, Elaine. Things has strong potential to start in a beginning fashion that we can do as little or more. And I just put together some what ifs. So, and I don't need to go over it. That's an AI graphic of Estacada. I think it's really cool. So go to page 2. Year 1, Hannah agreed that if we could just be absorbed and be part of the 4th of July parade, so not having a separate event. Parks and Rec got excited about helping with a float to kind of commemorate it, but make available things like check out the park, the art show at the library, which has a historical focus. Other activities, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit to the art, number K. Philip Foster Farm said they were willing to do a 1905 fashion show on the 4th of July. I'm doing E, which is the art history collage. We talked about through Philip Foster Farm, I've done research on what the school issues were at that time. So in 1905, they just had a pickle of a situation that they had outgrown their facilities for 40 students, and we were going through unprecedented growth. And so it was a big measure before City Hall and everyone, we want to build a 4-room schoolhouse. Now that was, we're thinking, oh, that's so small. But when you're going from a 1-room to a 4-room. So I've done research and I've talked to Elaine about this, about what curriculum they were doing as a group in 1 room. I found readers from the late 1800s, almost into 1900, were in that empty lot, for example, by Harvest Market and Lou's, to set up a few benches and do a 15-minute 1-room schoolhouse demonstration. We're going to test drive it, hopefully, at Philip Foster Farm. And to find people to do that, that would also be the center location. It was a big deal in 1905 for City Hall, the mayor, to offer recognition of different citizens or whatever, but they do it with a basket of apples. And to try to keep it in the genre of 1905, not that we're taking over the whole parade, but we would have another thing that could easily be done with little to no money would be living history. And to get, there's about a dozen of main characters in 1905 that we could have people portray that character. I'd write a 1-page, 3-paragraph thing to introduce yourself as mayor or the teacher or head of sewer and water. They had sewage and water problems in Main Street and what they did to go through that. So we'd have the emphasis of living history to support that. Now, this is if we could somehow put an ad out, a call, like a call to artists. I want to call out to history stuff of Estacada. Estacada used to have a museum with all things Estacada in the history. I was told that closed and everything in it was sent to the Oregon Historical Society in Oregon City. I called Oregon Historical Society in Oregon City. They said, we were told that it was coming incoming history stuff from Estacada. It never showed up. So then I talked to Elaine and she says, I don't know if this is that. She goes, I don't think so, but they came to work one day or at Philip Foster Farm and there were 2 boxes left outside by their front door. So they've been going through what they have and they have articles that I can put in the collage, trying to be good stewards, categorizing it, everything, recording it. But they don't want it because their whole thing at Philip Foster Farm is to go up to 1905. They're done. What we have is early Estacada, pre-1905, all the way through. And they're looking for a home for it. And so I'm going to go over there, go through what they have, but we don't think this is that. So in someone's garage and probably barn is all things Estacada. And I don't want any guilt on anyone, but if we could put out an ad on Facebook, on
Maybe
the website.
city could put that out.
Yeah,
because they
and
have more
just
people to
saying,
see stuff.
but we're going to start another birthday party for Estacada for their 120th year birthday party. Our last birthday party for Estacada was in 1955, the 50-year birthday party. So we're going to have just an initial fun birthday party. If you have anything historical with Estacada, give us a call, give them my phone number. But I'm on a vendetta to find out where this stuff went. I love mystery, so I'm on a big mystery hunt. What I have so far, so I did a few clippings of what was going on in 1905. For example, we promised the Native Americans that we would give them $2,500 over a 10-year note. That's never been done. And they make mention, if we can get $2,500 and give it to, and I have a Native American contact that is with Grand Ronde, because it would be wonderful. Even if it's just $2,500, we'd be one of the few areas in the nation who actually paid their debt. And I think that would get so much press in a good way. I'd love to see that happen. So that's one of my, and I've got some type of Native background, so this is a big one for me. There's other things we could do. So I've visited Parks and Recs, traffic and safety, and what I need is a letter of recommendation, encouragement, support that we will do what we can possibly do. We're already doing the art show focus. Something I'd like to do is a time capsule and have people on a 4x4 or 6x6 piece of paper either do their poetry, their story, what they would like to see solved in 50 years, or draw what they think it would look like a coloring contest, but you have to draw it as well and color it in, and we'll go in this time capsule. Melanie already committed to having the time capsule here on site at City Hall, outside somewhere. And it would be great if the Arts Commission could do part of that sponsoring of a drawing or whatever, but if not, and Arts Smith has already said they'd love to sponsor that. So I'm having different businesses come up and say, yeah, we'd love to be a part of this. I see, I put together a sample budget on the last page. And so you can see what I'm going around asking different commissions. Number one, write a letter of support, and I can put together sample letters. And so traffic and safety is writing a letter. Park and Recs wrote a letter. Melanie's writing a letter. Jerry, if you'd write a letter, that'd be great for city council. And there is a last minute grant that came up, and it is heavily weighted for the historical emphasis. It's coming through Clackamas Coalition again. I've called them, I've talked to them, and I've attended a Zoom call with their coalition of Clackamas County. And they want I'm saying this casually, the wealth to be shared. So to have another application for arts, because we already won one, it really needs to come from either another department, division, someone else. And so I talked to Melanie. I'm not even sure how to do this and not burn any bridges, but to go to the historical thing, if we could get some money, it's up to 5,000. It's due April 17th. It's going really fast. They received like 100 plus whatever thousand, and they're trying to get the money out.
So you're saying that the grant application needs to come from like a different commission since they've already awarded us one?
Yes.
Could it come from the downtown commission?
It could come from parks, it could come under the city, you know, because
Did you talk to
private,
Hannah
indiv-
about that?
I talked to Melanie about that, and I talked to Ariella, Sophie, and, you know, calls on the Zoom
It's
call trying to
because Hannah
understand.
was the person you had the meeting about all of this stuff with, right?
Hannah,
Smith.
Hannah, yeah, I talked to
Who
Hannah,
speaks on the downtown.
but yeah, she's on, yes, and their meeting is next week. So
Okay.
I'll be there to present this.
Okay.
And I've got it half done, all the really wordy parts. It's basically the same format with some, they quickly produced it because some of it doesn't quite fit, but it's okay. So in the budget, I just guessed maybe 4,000 would come in, I don't know, in community gifts. So I have an exposure, and I'm doing my best to guess what these costs would be. I don't know what talent, for example, someone has a contact with the old time fiddlers. My heart's, if I could have anything happen for this besides the living history, I would love to have the rags and hard time dance. It was tradition in Estacada. Rather than have a fineries and silks, they went the other way. They had work clothes, calico rags. They give a reward for the raggedy dress, and the community would come together. And you're right on the edge of the 1920s, right? You're just, 15 years away from that. So the big bands were in, but they were doing the waltz, the two-step, and the turkey trot. Now, I choreographed the Music Man, right? I've done the turkey trot. I'm 73 years old. This thing is so vigorous. There's no way I could stay standing, but it's a fun dance. So I've talked to, again, Philip Foster Farms and a farm, singular, or maybe the dance club could do, if they did music in the park, it wouldn't have to be 4th of July, but had a community emphasis of a dance, and we could teach them the waltz, the two-step, and maybe the turkey trot. And we could either play music that was in 1905. So I've got like a basic playlist, or bring some old time fiddlers in, but it really wasn't down home bluegrass, but we could do some things. So I don't know if parks, that was kind of a new thought for them. I don't know if it's going to be this year, and maybe, in 2030.
We had, actually randomly, I asked Steve last night, I was like, I need your overview of how your
Mhm.
meeting went, because I have to give an update at my meeting tomorrow.
Mhm.
And he said he was stoked on your enthusiasm and was just like, who is this dynamo? And I said, she's ours, you can't have her. But he was like, yeah, I think we might have one of our concerts this
That's what I was
summer
just gonna say.
be fiddlers, be some
Fiddlers.
old timey stuff.
The concert.
Yes.
And so kind of do it like that, where you would come out before the concert and give like a quick overview of, this is a dance we're going to do. And it's going to mostly be kids probably, but
Doesn't know, but it'll
hopefully
be
some
fun.
grown-ups will join.
Yeah.
Grown-ups are shyer dancers. But yeah, and they seemed very
Yeah,
enthusiastic.
and if the Philip Foster Farm group comes, it'll be all teenagers,
Yeah.
So, and if we get this, if we do this, if we get the information out, if you want to be a living history actor, just participate. The designs, what they were wearing was basically a long skirt, no cleavage, like turtleneck. The most you can show in your body is your ankle type
Mhm,
thing.
mhm.
And just dress up.
Yeah, it's a
if you
cool
want
idea.
to.
I think
So
it's a great idea.
this can be scaled down to as little, or the costumes, that could be like zero if people get their own long skirts from Goodwill or whatever. Advertising, that would be the big thing, just to let people know. So the big thing is for me is to make, I'm going to contact the antique car to see if there's any, because the Model Ts and Cs are coming out. So to get a couple cars there, maybe more. doesn't all have to happen on Main Street. We can shoot people up to the library, let them know what's going on there. We can have people go read the poetry.
Is Lou's
You
a
know?
connection for car shows? I know that they used to be.
Timbertown, I know Timbertown Grub has worked on getting, they've had a car show or two
Yeah.
When
at
we,
their space, and they have connections with car shows.
when we
Okay.
first
You reach
moved
out to
here,
her.
there were car shows all the time. We used
Yeah.
to go to them all the time. And I feel like Lou's had some connection, though. I'm not sure, but that might be one to like give a call to. The
Yeah.
owners there on the grill. Usually you can just ask them.
My other heart's desire is to have like a bajillion, I'm exaggerating, cupcakes, but in the shape of a birthday cake.
Oh,
So we
nice.
can sing happy birthday to Estacada. I mean, just really hokey stuff. But the thing is, it's a beginning. You asked about things that could go on your passport. If we get this yes, they could, go meet the 1905 mayor, go meet the 1905 school teacher, go meet the 1905 lady who's in charge of the dance and drama, because the hotel here, luxury hotel, is a big deal. People are arriving with furs, and there's so much we could do if you have open squares. and
So
tell us
that
what
would
to do
be
with
on
it.
just the 4th.
That-
You're talking
yes,
about
but
living
some
history.
of these, the
So,
living history part would.
Can I ask, I know we only have a few more minutes before we have to kind of wrap up. Is Hannah teaming with you?
Yes, and yes, and no. I mean, it's initial thing. I've got to go to DEC and really,
Present it.
yeah. So, but I still, and I was thinking about Founder's Day to get started, and it's like we had so many start and stops, and it's totally understandable. But I think to take this on for any one commission, it's too much.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really think it has to be each one does what they think they can do, or nothing at all, and that's okay. But it has to be like, yeah, let's celebrate our birthday, and we can do this, or we don't want to. And maybe for 2030, there's a big designated focus, but I think it's going to have to come with a separate committee. So I have been gathering people to be a separate committee, and I'm gathering people who have a skill set for organization, but I'm also gathering people who are just an interested citizen, because I want the general public's, not that I'm going to work them to death, but I want their input, because I think this separate committee
So are
needs to
you
happen.
thinking towards the 125th or the 130th?
The
You're
100,
gearing to, like
uh,
when you're talking about this.
whenever the
gearing it.
next big one that they decided, like 5 years from now, would be 125th. This is
Okay.
120. And then however often they want to do it. I don't think you need to do it every year, but I think you can build up to it.
Yeah.
It depending on the artifacts, the clothing, and if I get a lot of stuff, it might be, if it's possible, Jerry, it'd be great to deck this place out. It's kind of like a living museum. I'm also going to go to an open house. Hannah has
Well,
a property right by Spiral.
I was thinking,
wanna
I mean,
see
I love the
how much it
idea
costs.
and the enthusiasm. I almost think you need to, it would be like what? Estacada anniversary. It wouldn't be have to be a city commission. It could
No.
be your own
Yes.
thing. And like you're saying, you gather your people with an eye towards like, we are working towards a big blowout on the 125th.
Right.
And
For right now, I'm kind of as this ad hoc committee drawing on the support from the different commissions. Melanie says,
Mhm.
yes, I'll cover you on this one. Go ahead and apply for
Mhm.
the grant.
Mhm.
I need vigorous letters of support. And I'm willing to write one for you. It'd be great if you'd all sign it, but if there's
Yeah.
just one, that's okay.
I don't know.
Isabella, I would love the high school to get involved in whatever shape or form. It's just, I think there's a lot of opportunity here to get parts of our community that haven't worked together for a long time. Based on what they do, like in 1905, they had a strong church participation.
Mhm.
I would love churches to have their dress up in 1905 and sell all things strawberries, because they had a big strawberry celebration, or whatever. For whatever you're fundraising for your little table, for your bake sales. So that's what's going on. I just want to let you know that I'm not stepping out on you. I'm just trying to figure out how to make this happen.
No, I think that is the right idea, is
Okay.
to
Yeah, it's super exciting.
go to every, be like,
I'm trying.
yeah. because it
You got
is,
I'm
momentum
trying.
there.
it is too much for
Maybe
one,
we'll jump
for
on your
any
enthusiasm
one.
train.
I can do it, but
But
I don't
also
want to
it
be a
does,
bulldozer.
You know,
but I
it
am.
does involve downtown, it does involve parks, it does involve
Yes.
traffic and public
City.
safety, you know, it does involve all these little things, so it would be, it makes more sense that, you know, all those committees have some buy-in as
Right.
opposed to just being like, this is your thing, parks or arts or whatever,
Yeah.
you know? But I also love the idea of, you know, looking towards the future and being like, you know, the Estacada Living History Project, you know, ETA 125th.
Yeah.
And then you've got, you know, 4 years to gather, to track down those missing items, to gather, you know, your troops and yeah.
Just tourism wise, there's really nothing else like this in the
Yeah.
area. Yeah. Tourism wise, it could be a big draw.
Yeah, absolutely.
could
I'm
be-
sure.
Anyways, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I
So
bet.
I will send you a letter.
Okay.
You rip it up, tear it up, add to it, and then have everyone sign
Slap
it.
a logo on it.
Yes.
All right, I'm in.
So, and I'll
Okay.
get this thing filled out and
I don't know if they've made it public knowledge yet, but I know the Downtown Estacada Commission was going to ask Reliance to be the Grand Marshal of the 4th of July parade because Reliance has been here since the beginning.
I was gonna say you should talk to them because they have a pretty cool history.
Yeah.
well, and
They're like-
PGE was such a big for everyone. I would love to say, listen,
Reliance is like the original telephone company.
okay.
Yeah.
They have cool history just in their, like, in their lobby. I was there the other
Okay.
day and they have like.
I'm getting some really
Did you,
interesting stuff.
were you here at the meeting when I was talking about at the pharmacy too?
I did. I've gone there and it's too old. They're like in the 30s.
Oh, it is?
You know, it's-
Okay. But you've seen all those
Yeah,
big
I have.
pictures they have back there.
I'm trying to get the menu from the hotel.
Oh,
Well, I don't
yeah.
mean to cut us off, but we're rounding up on our 8 o'clock. time.
Okay.
I have one quick agenda item that I added. You guys will see here. It's the letter of support. I
I
just got
did
this
see
letter
that.
today from Elena, so we didn't have time to add it earlier. And the grant deadline is May 1st before our next meeting. So that's why I threw it on here tonight. But Elena is in the process of applying for funding through the local government grant program to update the Parks Master Plan. And she is just asking for Jesse to sign this letter of support for that grant. So
Done.
great.
Got it right
Thank you
here.
so much.
I
No
was
problem.
also being like, wait, what was that thing? That's right. I'm glad-
It's a thing I signed.
And hi, Ariel.
Okay, we'll have to be brief. Ariella, did you want to speak? Is that what you're going to offer? Your mic wasn't on, I'm not sure.
Ariella, if you would like to speak, please do so now. We are going to be ending the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here she is.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Deb, it's real, or not Deb, Bev. It's really amazing. I know I talked with you on the phone, but it's really amazing to hear all the specifics of your proposal. And I just think you should definitely apply for the Cultural Coalition grant. And talk about those things. Talk about the music and the dance and the living history, because that's so exciting. And like you
Mhm.
said, there's not that I know all of the specifics, but I haven't heard of anything else like that around the county. So I just think it's just awesome. So go for it.
Okay.
That's really all.
Vote of confidence. I love it.
Yeah.
So would any of you like to be on this ad hoc committee? Do you have any time, Isabella?
Would anybody, Isabella?
Jared. Anyway, think about it. Think about it. I think it'd be fun.
Okay.
It's fun.
Please read the community updates and arts opportunities at the bottom of your agenda. And I will call this meeting, we will adjourn this meeting at 8:02.
Done.
Go team.